We are live. Good morning. A little different beginning this morning. Here we go.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. You gotta try it, it's the latest thing. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Take your partner and let's begin. It's time to rage. It's time to rage. It's time to rage. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate, against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. First pump your fist, it's time to rage. Then stamp your feet against the hate. Pump your fist and stamp your feet. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage, time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Now where I'm from, it's time to rage. Then grind your teeth against the hate. First where I'm from, then grind your teeth. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. You gotta try it, it's the latest thing. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Take your partner and let's begin. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. First pump your fist, it's time to rage. Then stamp your feet against the hate. Pump your fist, it's time to beat. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage. It's time to rage against the hate. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's do the race. It's on the race. Let's do the race. It's on the race. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's rage against the hate. Let's do the race. It's on the race. Let's do the race. It's on the race. It's time to rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's rage against the hate. Come on, darling, let's do the race. Let's do the race against the hate. Let's do the race against the hate. Let's do the race against the hate.
They are.
So there you go, Tim. Good morning, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you this morning. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
you too.
I can barely have my eyes open, man.
It's early.
I stayed
And then
up the Jake Paul played last night. It's Jake, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't follow those cultural icons, but I saw.
I don't either. But I got an email. It was on Netflix, and I was just like, based on what we're talking about today, I'm just like, man, I need to tune out for a while. So I binge watched this show we were watching and watched the fight.
Hey, we've attracted all your trolls this morning. They're filling up my comments here. Truth Era Media.
Good.
Truth Era Media. Truth Era Media wants me to show it on screen. What a dumb song. Anyways, hey, Tim Bodnar, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Blah, blah, blah. What is this? Why did you groom a 16-year-old girl with drugs?
Why don't you have any evidence? That's the question I have. So fuck him, right? Fuck you.
Right. Well, I mean, he's not going to get to he's not going to set the agenda this morning.
No, he's not.
And then there's another one here, a new one that I hadn't seen before. Vengeance. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I know him. Yep. I know who he is.
Bad guy.
That's
good guy, bad guy.
Richard Hale. No, he's a friend of mine.
Okay, Vengeance. He wants to know if his text is visible.
Yeah, Richard Hale is a good guy, like Richard, which means that now that Truth Era Media is watching, of course, but they already figured this out. These people have figured out anybody who's even remotely my ally, and the next down the rung, they just take them out. I mean, that's what's going on.
Well, Vengeance DM'd me this morning. I didn't know who he was, and he seemed to have privileged private information regarding your future, and so I was like, nah, I don't know. So, all right, glad to know he's a good guy. That's part of the reason we want to do this show this morning. This is like what you have lived through this year and what I've been living through for my entire career, in a sense. I mean, with the internet spinning up, my world became absolutely figure outable, if that's not, I know that's not a word, but I mean, all the way back to 2009, and then it just, when I resigned from the Christian Civic League, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse in terms of rationality, reason, logic. That's why I wanted to start this with this show, this song. What was it? Rage Against the Hate. Rage Against the Hate. I look at your vibe, right? I decided to take your side against Hein a year ago, and so one of the first things I had to think about was your vibe, which is kind of raging against the hate sort of thing. There's a vibe to you that's angry, right, and very publicly angry. And I had to think about it, and I decided that you'd picked up the vibe, on X. It's what brings clicks and likes. It's all this cleverness and all this,
it's but it's deeper than that. It's got nothing to do with what's popular or what I thought was going to work on X. None of it.
Yeah. But you're instant in going against your enemies.
No, I don't. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Which it freaks people out, but it is not as like I punch back. I punch back. I don't hold back, but I usually wait until I launch on people until I'm pretty damn sure. What people don't see is the chances I gave people. What people don't see is all the history that went into, things before. But now, of course, as this has unfolded upon us, and I'm beginning to learn the depth of the sophistication of all of this and the sheer reach in all of this, that many times I was made to appear different than I am. Like, first of all, you can say, like, if you punch someone and then they hit you back, you can point at them and say, look, they hit me, right? Well, this is what's going on here, right? The forces that ought not be, which you like to say, right, have decided that only certain voices are going to be allowed. right? And if there's any alternative voice, they're going to destroy that. And it appears that not a person in this political world in Maine has any iota of decency, scrap of decency, to not use pretty nefarious tactics to get this done. Okay.
Yeah. Let me illustrate that. So in my comments, I've got a picture of you with the X logo and an account named Truthslinger X. And this account is doxing my phone number on X, doxing my cellular number. And now my cellular number is ringing from Maryland.
And so I wonder who the hell knows your cell number, right? Because sure you give it out indiscriminately to anyone, don't you? It's a pretty damn short list, I'd say.
Yeah, it's not. I probably now my phone is ringing off the hook of calls.
But see, this is good. This is good.
It's called doxing. It's called doxing.
Right.
And it's also identity theft here of you, because I'm going to have to turn my phone off. Hold on.
Oh, the words I can use. Okay.
Yeah.
Fraud, extortion. There's just so many. Okay.
Right.
I mean, like, it's when you got people out there that are now impersonating. First of all, I'm wiped off of X. Let's get everybody to understand that. I do not have a presence on X at all. I haven't posted shit on X at all. I do not exist on X, right? And at this point, I'm not quite sure I'm even interested in coming back, to tell you the truth. I've been done a favor, okay, in a way.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, well, Merry Christmas, exactly. Thank you, because I was operating in order to, like, let's go back to what we're talking about here again, which is the fact that there's a psyop running, right? And this is the crazy part, because when you go, well, they're running a psyop campaign on me, right? And they're trying to discourage me. They're trying to malign me. And when I go back and look at relationships over the last year, and I figure out that I've been caught at least 2 or 3 times DMing someone because they went, oh, I got knocked off. This is my backup account. Write me here too. And it's not who you think it is. But of course, your brain normally doesn't go, now, should I exist in a world that I might be so paranoid because there's a psyop running and people are out to get me? No, that's called normalcy bias, right? But then you start to say, there really is a conspiracy out there, no matter what it's about, right? And as soon as you do that, well, he's nuts. He's crazy, right? And what I've found is that in this book, this is so sophisticated that no matter what it is you do, it can be turned around on you. No matter what it is. If you answer a charge, those few words will be clipped out and turned into something to hurt you, right? And so it's been interesting last few days, because I've realized now I'm on Blue Sky. I get people counts that are saying, oh, yeah, that guy was a leftist operative and we sent him to Maine, but he was uncovered, right? So, there's still basically what they did was, a football term is, they flooded the zone, right?
Right.
With so much misinformation and shit out there, right? Yeah. That I appear to have going through a mentally unstable break, right? I'm trying to get back on X. I'm trying to DM my friends and go, I'm broke, I'm dying, I need gummies and buy my book. Okay, I don't care whether anyone buys my book. I've given it away digitally, because people go, I can't afford it. As a matter of fact, I probably gave one to one of these Time characters, okay, free, because I don't care. Right? I just don't. And that's the thing is, this year, everything I invested, everything I built, and let me tell you, I was burning it at both ends, and it was detrimental to my my mental health, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you get people attacking you, you're getting mail bombs. And then you have health issues. You're losing your teeth, and your wife is going in and out of Parkinson's issues. And when she's psychotic for a week in the hospital, okay, there's a lot of stress going on. And then to have people begin systematically abandoning you, right? and you go, wow, I lost another one, you know? And it's like, I know that I'm bombastic and I know that I have this in your face kind of style. But what people know about me, and which is even most disappointing to the end, is that I'll talk to anybody about anything forever. Okay. You just, as long as you continue to engage in me and, you know, are able to deal with the fact that if you push on me, I'm going to push back. Right. And we can have a conversation, then we can have a relationship. Now, I don't know about a friendship, but we can have a relationship. But if we can't do that, right, and you stop listening to me, and I send you information and you do not digest it, and you go, well, I've made my decision upon you, and now there's no point in listening to you. That makes me very frustrated. And so, yes, there's this emotional roller coaster, because what happens is that not only, no matter what my intentions were when I started this thing, which was to make an impact and make a positive change in Maine and strike a blow for Jesus Christ. That's the main mission. And that was going to be in politics was the most effective place that I wanted to do that. And so, of course, you get into this X thing and you say, well, I want followers, right? And so, you know, you work hard at doing that, putting out entertaining content and things like that. And then, you know, get on some follow trains, right? Follow back, interact with blue check mark accounts, all this stuff. You know, you go, how do I build an account? You build an account.
Right.
And obviously, if you're gonna sell a book, right? Which is interesting because, you know, that's not what I intended to do. But I mean, but normally what you do is if you're going to self-publish a book, you have to build a media machine to promote. Right. And then one day you're on there and go, hey, get a copy of my new book, right?
Yeah.
And so you get involved, and then this addictive thing that they make the social media, right? Because there's that component to keep you
right, antisocial media, and it's been that from its invention, from its creation. It's never been social media. Right. It's always been.
Where the people are growing fins or spines or whatever, like a dorsal thing on the back of their neck because they're bent over like this all the time, right? It's changing.
But what it is, Tim, what's good about it, what it still is, although it's become so toxic that it's hard to navigate, and it's been so flooded now with these bot farms and with agenda-driven politics. I'm seeing an example of it this morning. I mean, they're commenting every second about you on X and on YouTube. Your enemies are during this show.
Yep.
And I'm seeing it on
power. I still have.
Right. Well, and I'm seeing all of it on StreamYard, but I don't have to show it. I have discretion to show that their insults and their attacks or not. So I have control. I have editing. But anyway, back to my point. What we think of as social media has always been antisocial media. It's media. That's good. It's media, but there's never been a social component to it. Really, not really. It's been
the only thing is Facebook, right? Which is this idea that, hey, you know, connect with your friends and family, you know, across the country, and you know, and it's the book of faces and pictures, and you share shit. You know, it's like it has some sort of use. Okay, the problem is that it's so easy to weaponize everything against us, right?
Right, and so, Facebook, right? I think I told you this yesterday. Facebook and Google were seed funded by the CIA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
And so, what is Google's claim to fame in terms of the internet? They made everything free, right? We all expect it all to be free.
Nothing's free. If it's free, you're the product.
That's right. And then what's Facebook's claim to fame? Funded, remember, seed money by the CIA and the FBI. What's their claim to fame? Well, it's in the name, Facebook. It's they created this so that they could go beyond facial recognition and collect data points regarding everything that you give them socially. Sure. That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for.
Sure. I mean, just look at that. I mean, all the advertising is tailored to you. And when you walk through the Walmart, okay, now they get a camera on your face while you're, you know, checking out with a non-human being. It's the whole facial recognition thing, data collection and everything. It's just, man, like, wow. There's no way to avoid. I mean, this country, at least the prior administration and the deep state, admire China. They admire China and what a great job they've done with all this social score bullshit. Okay.
Yep.
Which is that idea that the government now replaces God, right, as the moralistic arbiter of how you should behave and what you should do. Right. And so
Richard Hale wants me to show all the insults so that he can respond on here. But the problem for me is what I've, Tim, and you can appreciate this, is if you're acting as your own producer, you know, it's
well.
So now I've
read a couple of them that you think would be interesting. Okay, because
I mean,
this is a very good example, and I want to say this again. Okay, to you assholes who are watching. Okay, guess what? I know that you're still fucking scared of me, because otherwise you wouldn't be here at 6 a.m. God dang, dude, you're committed. You sons of bitches are, God, you working overtime. You're probably ordering pizza and Hot Pockets and bringing in sandwiches and Uber Eats and shit. What the hell is the matter with you people? Right? But this is a case in point which shows you they hate me. They hate my voice. And it's not because I'm a groomer. It's not because I'm a pedophile. It's not because of any other thing that you read out there. It's not because I abused my daughter. I've got legal paperwork proof, all of this stuff. Okay. So what it is they have to paper me that way to get people to say, oh, he's not to be listened to. He's not to be trusted. We don't want to listen to him. Right. So
I figured out how to do it. Tim, can you see it there?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but anyway, it's so funny that Truth Slinger X account there. That's not you.
It's Truth Singer. It's Truth Sanger. Sanger. Yeah, you know. So here's the good part. Okay, first of all, I understand more what I'm dealing with, because once I got off of X, I got booted on X. Then I started to have more time to look around at other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, holy shit, I'm on Blue Sky. And then I thought to myself, well, what shall I do? Get a Blue Sky account to go piss on their forehead over there and go and defend myself over there? Are you kidding me? You don't think I had enough to do? Right? So, Uncle, you won.
You're right.
You won this one.
Yeah.
You won this one. Okay? Let it fucking burn. Keep feeding on that carcass and keep thinking that you're hurting me. Like Khan, you know, I want to keep on hurting you. Keep on thinking it. Okay? And pull your little plug and get all excited and masturbate about it. Because I'm out here de-dopamine hitting this thing up here. Okay? And getting out of the cycle of chasing after ghosts and trying to beat you, because you know what? I understand when it's time to retreat, and I don't have the resources. I don't have the time to compete with that, right? So what? So then that begs the question, Michael, right? Doesn't it? Well, what then shall I do with my time? As Francis Schaeffer asked, how then shall we live? So in 2026, how I shall live, okay, is to move forward with basically the same quest that I've always had, except I'm going to do it differently. And I'm telling you right now, okay, now, that means that I'm going to be silent, at least for a while, right? Because I have to figure some things out and see where I'm going with this. But in the meantime, I want everybody to understand that I am of sound body and mind. The only reason I'm up right now and not sleeping in this morning, okay, was because this is necessary to make public record. Because yes, I am paranoid. Okay, I am on a heightened level of concern, because the more sophisticated I see what is happening to me, I think the more I understand other people that may have committed suicide. Hmm?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
and as I'm dealing with this psychology, right? And I'm starting to get it.
Hold your thought. Let me jump in and respond to Richard Hale. He says, make the comments visible in the chat where I am, please. I have no idea what he's saying there. I've made them visible in the stream.
Yeah, I can
Now,
see him, and so they should be able to see him. So
yeah, I think he says, yeah. So he says his screen is too small to read Tim's, but I don't know.
No,
So,
no,
Richard, I just want to,
I want to answer Truth Dickhead Mike Hine, Truth Singer X over here. Okay, must be doing something if you spend an hour talking about it. Well, no, yeah, I am. Yeah, you're doing something. You're exposing yourself, like ringing Mike's phone, like while we're on the line. I mean, this is brilliant. Normal people do this kind of shit all the time. Right? Either you're completely sick in the freaking head or you're paid. And if you're paid, okay? So the reason that I'm spending time talking about it is, number one, if I wind up dead from suicide, okay, I am a Christian. I do not commit suicide. Right? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, and I think that's a real I don't think suicide's a real possibility, but based on what Mike Hine himself in his own name, not hiding behind some anonymous account, texted me after you wrote and published that essay on X about struggling with all of this in an emotional sense. I think you used the word depression and stuff, but you ended very strong. You ended the essay.
Right.
Yeah, you ended the essay declaring your faith strongly, very strongly.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead. Sorry.
Hine quipped in the text to me, which I imagine it's going to make its way to law enforcement, because the quip suggested that he was either going to murder you or drive you to suicide, and he was celebrating that. Now, I got to thinking about
that's normal.
I got to thinking about the double meaning of his quip, and I said, this has turned very bloody and very real. This whole thing has turned very bloody, very real.
Right. Law enforcement. Look, Truth Singer, read it. Okay. Now he's going to report this for self-harm. Okay. Now I was taken down for a couple of days on X because I posted a razor blade, and I said the truth is a razor. Cut off and cut sharp, cut hard, or something like that. Okay. And the next thing I know, I'm suspended because I am promoting suicide. Okay. Now everybody knew what that was. And of course, when I wrote them, they went, oh, sorry. Obviously, you're not promoting suicide. And neither here are we advocating self-harm. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you, I'm not going to self-harm myself. But see, now what they're doing is they're driving the narrative. But see, I'm smart enough to go, all you're doing right now is exposing the fact that you want to turn the way this goes. And so that's not going to happen. The agenda here is that I'm telling you that I'm not going to self-harm, right? And I'm not telling you, I'm telling the world. And right now, in the process of me doing this, you're actually continuing to create a legal trail on this show. How fucking stupid are you? It was what I'd like to know. I mean, really. And especially, it's like, oh, okay, you wish someone we all know what kind of people in this world are the ones that celebrate the demise of another human being. They're all the people that came out after Charlie Kirk got shot, right? They're the ones that we thought surely they couldn't possibly exist. But yet here we see they do, still right in front of us, right? And this is the point, is that people need to be awakened to what is actually going on here. And that to be exposed, because what we're talking about here is censorship, right? But it's censorship on a level that will be willing to do the ultimate thing, is to silence a person by having their life ended in one way or another.
There's only two ways to fix this. One is if you're rich enough to hire lawyers, and then you can very easily get discovery in a court, right? Or the other way is that the government has the power to strip away this anonymity,
Right.
and then we can get you or whoever can get to the bottom of it. We can get to the facts, but only the government has that power. Even if you have a room full of lawyers, you can afford to pay a room full of lawyers. They're going to have to do it through the government.
So this is great. This is great. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm really pissed.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm really fucking pissed. Okay, I am. You don't have any idea how pissed I am. Okay, but I'm not pissed enough to go shoot anybody up or go create a mass casualty event, which is what they've said about me before. Robert Carding on all these telling people this shit, right? Which I've got all the receipts to this stuff, right? I'm not angry enough to do that. I'm not angry enough to self-harm, and I'm not interested in social media like at all anymore. So this ought to be the last you're going to hear of me for a bit. And you can just sit and figure out what I'm going to go and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to do. And you just keep on. God, just keep on dancing on that grave, man. Keep picking the bones. Keep making the fake accounts. Keep leaving that trail. You just keep doing it.
The reason I played the song "Rage Against the Hate" is because it's now obvious to everyone what the source of this is. It's Netanyahu. It's Israel. It's this whole game. Look what they're doing in Australia right now with Bondi Beach.
It may be, but it may be. Okay. But me personally, okay, we may get there. We may wind up there. And isn't going to be interesting as the story unfolds to see where it does go. And again, disclaimer, right? The whole Jewish thing is a mess to me still in my mind, but I got it. I'm getting it. Right.
Well, the point of the song, and I thought, you're a great creator with AI. Probably a lot of that was AI. I don't know if all of it was, but that's music. That's a work of art because the way it communicates what I'm saying is subtle. It's very subtle, but you can get it pretty easily. You don't have to be, a retard. You can get it, and what the song does is challenge all of us to think about why we're raging. Why are we, especially Christians, why are we raging so much publicly? Why?
Well, there's not enough of us raging. Okay. And the reason is because people get exactly the same kind of treatment. If you get noisy enough that anyone hears you raging, if you're effective, right? Immediately. Then I'll tell you something. I saw Mikey Hine. I'll always be better looking than you, even missing a tooth, douchebag. I saw this little piece of shit walk up to me at the first time I ever met him when I was going over to hope that Steve Robinson would notice me at the drive-in. Oh, so long ago, last year when he came out with his weed thing, which he's still tired peddling that story. Okay, important story, but God, he's going to ride that thing till it's dead. Okay, yeah, we get it. There's a Chinese mob weed problem, but this guy starts zigzagging and he's casing my car, looking at me. He's got his little camera, and he starts like kind of weaseling over toward me. I look right at him, and I'm like, "There's something very wrong with you." And I went, "You're too cagey, man. You're off. You're just fetish." Now, I've never met a fed in my life, but of course, after going through 2020 and seeing all this shit that's going on and the J6 setup and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, well, it's not beyond my ability to believe that I was telling Jennifer, right? This makes perfect sense. If there were actually operatives, let's just say if there were, who would they go against? right? They would go against the most effective voices, right?
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
then you go, okay, and we do know that Gretchen Whitmer situation happened. We do know this happened. We do know that happened, right? So don't believe that it can't exist. And so Maine, I think, is a linchpin in some ways that people realize that we cannot turn this state red, because if we turn the state red, there's going to be a lot of impact. And so, yeah, it was.
So
go ahead.
So the point of the song "Rage Against the Hate" is to invite you and me, all of us, to question when our passions cross the line into rage.
Right.
I think that's his point. I think that's the point of the song. And then he brilliantly, and he always does this as a backdrop in his song. He has this, this kind of crazy dancing going on.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the reason he does that is because he's setting up in an artistic way a contrast between what spun up for music in the West in the late Middle Ages, which was classical, Baroque, et cetera, as the popular form for music. It was very ordered. It was very sort of predictable in a sense. And then music changed as a result of a musician named Schoenberg in the late 19th century in the West. And it became what you see in that video. It became much less ordered, much looser. Percussion changed. The cultural reality, what was popular with respect to music, changed. And so the point he's making with that is just, it's not that music doesn't have a place, the dancing music, all that stuff. It does have its place. But why is it everything? And why do we never have classical anymore? Very orchestras can hardly survive outside of huge, immense cities. I mean, in Maine, maybe
the destruction of culture, right? And
exactly.
It's what it is, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, you can see it in architecture, the brute force architecture that we have to live with. Like we were talking about the other day, I went to Washington. Excuse me. The African American Museum has got to be the most butt-ass ugly buildings I've ever seen. Just objectively speaking, it's horrible. And have you ever seen the Obama library that's sitting there cracking to pieces? This giant monolith. It's like, it's
right.
Whatever's good, noble, right, and pure has been watered down, and we've been given essentially a cultural junk food diet. And you wake up in a box, and then you look at a box, and then you go get in a box, and you drive to another box where you sit there all day long, and then you go to the box on the way home, or you go home and then let some other idiot bring it to your box for you, and then you put that on credit. I mean, we've devolved into there's like nothing makes sense anymore, right? I mean, it's like so. It's designed to keep everything stupid and to keep the elite people in control. And here's the thing, right? This rage. Let's return to the topic of rage.
Yep.
Because what's going on here, right? Ultimately speaking, is going to wind up in civil unrest. It's going to.
So, we're there. In a lot of ways, we're there. Go ahead.
We are, okay? But I just want to tell you right now, I'm not going to be the one doing it, dude. I'm 62 years old, okay? I'm going to stay here in the woods, okay, and do something, right? And I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm going to spend all my day doing it, and it's going to be something that is more effective than I think. I mean, the True Slinger Project had its purpose, right?
Yep.
And I offered it up, right? And willingly am allowing it to die. I'm just going to let it die, right, on the vine. It was made as a sacrificial project for the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to die, but go ahead.
It's gonna reemerge in a different form, right? It's going to and I mean, I have challenges. Okay, there are funding challenges and things, and when you only have certain options, right, and they've been removed from the table, then you have to be more creative in the things that you do. So, I got some figuring out to do, but I think I pretty much got that figured out of how to accomplish what I need to accomplish.
But here's the great thing. Here's the great thing, and you've proven it to me in Maine. You and Nick and Richard, I've called you in the past publicly the holy trinity of political activism in Maine. And one of the big reasons is because you guys do this stuff without any money. Look at what you've accomplished this year, the three of you.
Right.
Nick runs the Augusta School Board from Facebook. He runs it. He's in charge. He has forced them, and then you and Richard were running the Gardner School Board, which is why they had to destroy you. They had to destroy you.
Gardner's not over either. Here's the other thing. Listen, I don't need a social media account to get millions of views. There are open mics everywhere, you morons. That's the one thing I learned, okay, was that I didn't even have a TikTok account and people were watching on TikTok, right? I don't need an X account. Don't need it. But you can think you succeeded, and you did, but all you did is press me to evolve. And I don't know if you're going to like the evolution, but the evolution is not going to exist. Like I said, going back to the rage, it's going to go kinetic, okay? Because what's going to happen is eventually people are going to get so frustrated. And I made a quote about this a long time ago, that if you silence people's voices, then what they're going to have to say is going to come out in less desirable ways. And the Christians have always been the ones that they're the ones that got hypnotized into being nice, okay? Which is why nobody can swallow this pill, right? Many of the evangelical Christians, which is why I'm so much of a threat, because I'm jumping up and down all the time. Even I did a song, I don't know if you heard it, called 8 Woes. And I'm like, man, 8 woes, that's so cool. I love the language from the Bible, the 8 woes that Jesus told the Pharisees. Made a heck of a song, right? But this is what we're dealing with right now. And people are going to start getting mad, right? There's only so long that people are going to see everything you've ever worked for going down the toilet, and yet we've got entire communities of people that are being paid to live in luxury, right? Essentially compared to the squalor that other people are, or the people that have been displaced and homeless because of the Somalis and so on. It's like
we're this close, Tim, to enough Mainers figuring out that their local economy is totally dependent now on school teacher salaries and money that comes in through grants and funding from Augusta for that local school. Because Maine is a thinly populated state. And so the local units, the local governmental units are thin in terms of population. And so the local economy literally goes to crap if the public school ends up being adjusted in any way in terms of the budget. Everybody knows that. But what they're waking up to now is the fact that when they put that child or grandchild on that yellow school bus to hell, they are literally putting that child or that grandchild on a yellow bus to hell. They're waking up to that. And that's why they've got to destroy you, because with Bella Balls and with Nick's creative political activism, with the stripping incident just before the Bella Balls incident.
Yeah, that was great.
So
inspired the Bella Balls thing, man. I mean, I stood on Nick's shoulders with the Augusta thing, and it's disappointing that anybody thought there was an ego thing going on there. I just want to lift that guy up, man. I went down there in defense of Nick. Remember when Martha said, "Oh, he sat in my seat and he was near my personal belongings, and he's such a criminal kind of guy."
So if you're the enemy, right? If you're the enemy of what you're doing, you and Nick and Richard, then in collaboration, both privately and publicly, if you're the enemy of that, what's going to be your highest priority? It's going to be to make sure that you guys are fighting with one another and that you're no longer a unit, that there's no unity between the three of you.
Yeah, right.
And that's what they're going to want, because during this year,
it don't make no difference. They're stupid, okay? Because here's the thing: when God is the one that's pulling the strings of the theater on the puppets, right? Because and we are, to a certain extent, we can have this discussion all day long, but we are kind of meat puppets, right? I mean, I do make my choices, but God ordains and orchestrates and ordains the path of the heart, right? And so people are going to do what they're going to do. We coordinated very little anyway before. Right. Okay, we just did our thing, and God is the one that's managing all of this. So the enemy, because we're talking about satanic forces that are serving the father of lies, doing his bidding. This is what we're talking about. And in some cases, some of these little bastards like my kind probably own a few black candles and draw pentagrams and shit and use salt or whatever the hell. I mean, I'm serious. These people are evil shit. Okay. There's another one that's probably a witch in gardener. What the hell's her name? Can't even remember. But yeah, I get the witchy vibes. Okay. You know, I have a level of discernment that some people don't. And that's been the problem, is because I saw this like right when I came. I told you, when I met the guy, he was off. And it became a power struggle from day one. And wrestling the influence over people like Richard and Nick and Pine Tree Patriots and all of this stuff, because I had to be turned into anathema. And they're pretty successful at doing it.
Yeah, well, look at what they're doing right now publicly here online. They're splitting Nick and Richard away from you. Right? I don't know if you're following it there in the stream, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the other thing too is, like I said, that none of these people, even Richard, operates he operates at a breakneck pace. That's the one thing, is when your people like us are underfunded, and Richard, in his case, he's working. Okay, and me, I'm just kind of caretaking and or just really using every single moment I had to create content and pump this stuff out. But
Nick's working too, right? Minimum wage coffee shop. Last I heard.
Right, and so what happens is that when you're working at that pace, it's easy to get misled or respond to someone and start talking to someone that you think that is that person, and it's not. Yeah. So that even is incalculable, okay? Because I can't go back and see who was told what by me that I never said, and this is still going on. It's
so the biggest reason I wanted to have you on this morning was because of Michael Hines' tweet, which, as I say, in his name, sent to me this week. By the way, he claims to be he claims to have Matthew Gagnon and Steve Robinson in his hip pocket, because he's the source for the evidence that Steve Robinson with the main wire and Matthew Gagnon, his boss, are the ones who got your X account nuked. I mean, this stuff's real, and the latest text that he sent to me made me wonder if someone is going to come and murder you and Jen out there in the middle of the woods, burn the house down, and claim that you committed suicide. Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't they do that?
That's right. I live in that reality. I live in that world. I sleep with a shotgun, by the way.
Yeah.
I sleep with a shotgun.
Right. You got a wife to protect, and you're not in a populated situation where there's going to be a bunch of witnesses, right?
Nope. So yeah, right. So there's a flip side to it, right? The one is be careful if you come back here, right? Seriously, be careful if you come back here uninvited without an appointment. It'd be a bad idea. But at the same time, yes, I am a bit more vulnerable at the same time. Should the operation be large enough, I won't stand a chance. So
that's right. That's exactly right. And you've got the attitude like the Crusaders of the Middle Ages, which is you're going to go down defensively. You're going to go down defensively against whatever comes at you. Okay, so good on you. It's your property. God gave it to you. You have the right to protect it. And all of this stuff should be, if there's anything going on with you that's evil or hidden or crazy or wrong or what's the word? Fabricated or manipulate, that you want to manipulate people or all that kind of stuff. That needs this should have been played out with accountability from the beginning. And I think that I know that the institution that brings accountability in Maine is the government. And I know that you've gone to the government. You filed a, whatever it's called, TRO, I don't know what it's called, against Hine, and you put him in court, and it didn't. And then you were all in court over your daughter, all that stuff. It's all public. You can go check it out. Well, you can't check it out on Tim's X account anymore because his allies have had his X account nuked. Your allies did that. Censorship. It's like, that's not supposed to come from the right side of center in politics, but it did in your case right now. That's where it came from.
Yep.
According to Mike Hine, Steve Robinson. Now, maybe Mike Hine is trying to get Robinson and Gagnon in trouble. I don't know. But this has all got to be blown.
Sure, Mike Hine could have gotten a check from Bobby Charles for, throwing away his garbage or cleaning his fucking toilet, for all I know. Who the hell knows?
Right. But there's a sense in which, as we spin up into the governor's primary, which is crowded and going to be important in June, that vote comes in June. Look, we've all got to take this stuff on social media, on media, seriously enough to be willing to engage the government to get to the bottom of this stuff. And we got to stop raging against everybody and everything and thinking that we know something when we're dealing with obviously anonymous accounts and obviously fake identity accounts.
Right.
This has got to stop.
Which is why I said I can't compete with that. Right. I just don't. I don't have the tools.
Right.
Other people might have them, but
the government has them, right?
Yeah, they do. That's the point. Maybe it's time to get them involved. I don't know.
The government can break X's shield, with cause.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But
you mean if law enforcement might get the idea that other people are wishing harm upon me like that? You mean like that?
Maybe
warning, like maybe. Right now, what we're talking about, like that?
Yeah, like that? This is all public. Yeah, this is all public. Right? This is all going to be
or people that are impersonating you and having buy me a cup of coffee that goes to an owner that isn't me. Now, if you would have put my coffee in there, okay, you might have been all right. But when you put that going to another account, okay.
Now that's an important story right there, because Jim Orr is a hero on the Augusta School Board.
James Orr. There is no frickin' Jim Orr. Jim doesn't like the name Jim.
Okay. Well, anyway, I got something from, I don't remember from which channel, but this week from Jim Orr.
No, Mike Hine.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. No, I knew that. I found out from you. Actually,
if you don't know the Jim thing, he played me. I mean, the reason I called you an idiot is because I played with that account for, I don't know, going on a month. And then I figured it out when he tried to get me to go down to meet someone at a restaurant the day before, just so I'd waste half a tank of gas.
Well, let me tell you, this is interesting stuff. So I get this Jim Orr. How did it come to me? I can't remember, but might have been an X DM or something. I don't remember. But what he said was that you're in trouble, right? Tim's in trouble. He needs money. I'm committing $200. I've given $200 to Tim through his Buy a Coffee account. And then he gave the link. Now you tell me that Buy a Coffee account that he hands out goes somewhere else. It doesn't go to your Buy a Coffee. So see how this stuff is like, whoa.
Yeah. It's and the problem is that it's so complicated to explain, right? Like, for example, if I tell the story that Mike Hine contacted my daughter in Colorado, who waged lawfare upon me after getting the Gardner ladies upset and worked up so that they would take out their temporary restraining orders on me. You start telling.
You just went silent. I can see your mouth, but moving. But
I'm
your
sorry,
audio
there you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so what happens is you start telling this story and people glaze over. They go, yeah, okay, wow. You know, that what? You know, that you really like I can't even practically tell the lady down at the Irving, okay, because it's like you start telling a story and they just like they get lost. And Richard had the same problem with it, going, I don't know how to package this and tell it to the public. It's so weird and so nefarious, and they've got it. And you know what? People just have to be interested, right? So really, the whole thing is the more negative attention I get. Look, I did enough out there this last year that the vacuum that is left from me not being out there, okay, is going to have ripple effects. And this is why they're trying to piss on whatever's left of it by making all these accounts to completely, you know, but at some point, okay, people start to put 2 and 2 together. And now they're starting to call each other and go, did you give so-and-so $200 or $300? No, did you know you're on? Yeah, you're being impersonated on X. And the weird part of this shit, listen, let me tell you technically, okay, I couldn't report douchebag for impersonating Jim Orr on X because Jim Orr doesn't have a James Orr account that is being impersonated by Jim Orr, since there's no original account, right, to complain about. So X is like, well, I can't do nothing about it. Just a citizen, anyone, you know, doing it. I got nuked on X. Your account's been suspended. Okay. All right. So just go ahead and report the impersonating account. Simple, right? Nothing to it. You just whip out your driver's license. You do this. You say, hey, they're using my face even. Okay. My book name, you know, title, cover, all that stuff. I'm sorry, you can't perform that action. Because
there's only one path left to you and to all the good guys. And it has to do with the government. If the government isn't going to fix this, you know, the impersonation, all this craziness, there is no fix for it. And what does that mean? I mean, that's terrifying. Terrifying. Yeah. Now we do have this, right? We're talking publicly about it. I'm already shadow banned everywhere. The FBI's been to my house. I've been on the internet forever. They've collected all the data points about me, and they've put me on every list known to man.
No,
because I've, so I've but hey, look, we're talking here, right? I'm still holding on to my StreamYard account, and I'm on X. This is streaming on X for now, and it's streaming on YouTube, and it's also streaming at michaelheath.tv, which I control. But of course, we all now know that there really is no wild on the internet anymore. There's no really open forum on the internet. It's all controlled now by American big tech. So how are you going to fix this? How are you going to fix this?
Yeah,
right?
Well, you know, first of all, to me, is understanding, like I said, and picking and choosing your battles, right? And so this is giving me an opportunity to think about things in an undopamine-hitted environment, okay?
Yep.
Not chasing the clicks. I'm not crazed. You know, I'm firmly comfortable with the fact that I started this thing without any friends. And if I wind up end it with no friends, I don't care, right? That's not going to happen. I'm not going to wind up with 0 friends because God knows what he's doing and he's got my back. And I don't know what he's doing with it. But I think the biggest thing that the enemy miscalculates is that they don't understand what my motivation is, and they never will. Because if they're not truly walking with Christ, they will not understand the blowing of the Holy Spirit. And you may think that I have an enormous ego, right? People say, oh, Tim, he's just a narcissist. He's all about himself, right? Which if I were, then I would be out here like in the movie Passion of the Christ, shrieking at the sky because my Twitter went down. And my mental health has gotten better in the last 2 or 3 days because God closed the door, and the old saying, he doesn't close any without opening others. Okay. I'm supposed to spend my time doing other things. All right. Well, let's look at what my skill sets are, right? And start reapplying my skill sets to the situation. And that
It's funny, Jen.
really right now at the moment doesn't have anything to do with social media.
Yeah, that's funny. Jen just put up, so I think Heine is jealous that Heath picked Tim and kicked Heine.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, even Paul Medora says, oh my God, this guy wrote me these texts. And I mean, like literally seething, right?
Yeah.
Because last time I checked, oh yeah, you got kicked out of the Parents' Rights in Education meeting, douchebag, right? So maybe we hurt each other a little bit, didn't we? Maybe you're going to underestimate me in round 2 because there is a round 2. This ain't over. It ain't over by a long shot.
Right, exactly. And if Steve Robinson and Matt Gagnon continue to choose wrongly, they're going to get caught up in this.
I'll come on, and if there's something, here's the thing: there's record out there. Okay, this stuff we made content today. The internet is forever. It is forever,
right? And listen, Americans don't do, especially Mainers. They don't do censorship. They don't do it. They hate it.
I was shocked. Just as a last note, I was shocked. Okay, when it was one thing to distance himself from me, but what was interesting is he kept ghosting me, right? And I said, all right, that's fine. I will latch my cart onto your horse, on the back of your cart. And I'm just going to lift you up. And I'm just going to go, Mainwire's great, Unquirer's great, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going to sit out here in the woods. And I'm going to go, those guys do what they do more effectively than me. I don't want to hire a reporter. And I don't want to run around all over the place reporting. I'm old. I'm tired. Let's stay in the woods, broadcast. Right. Yeah. And then what happened was it exposed them for who they were. And it forced them. I forced them to make a move publicly. And it was a bitch move. And you think you won, but this is like, yes, the battle's over. I'm laying in dead, but you got I stabbed you with a poison dart, okay, or a poison knife. And this is going to continue to sit out there, is to go, you're too cowardly to allow my voice in this world, right? So who knows? I mean, I may come back, but we'll see.
I've called on them to pull the trademark complaint and to meet with you privately, and that's very fair to ask for that.
It was unfair. It was totally. He went and pulled the nuke, rather than doing the first business-like thing would be to contact me privately and say, "Hey, you did this. I think it's a trademark violation. Would you mind not doing it? We find it to be too close." To which I would have said, well, I didn't do it to take your trademark. I just did it to bust your balls, to get your attention, to get you to talk to me. Yeah. Sure, yeah. I'll even abandon that trademark. I don't care. Don't care. Yeah. You know me. Yeah. I branded one week. I got frustrated or two. Man, I rebranded myself 16 times. I mean, it was like Soldier of God for like 10 minutes. And, branding, I love branding. I mean, branding's easy, and building a brand isn't that hard. Okay. And you're just going to continue to knock on me. I'm going to become more infamous because I'm not dying. I'm not going away. And I'm going to create more news. What about that news is going to be, what's going to, the content of that news? I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Well, this has been a great morning. I have learned a bunch about StreamYard here. They're just looking at this. And, this is all on the record. It'll stay on the record, and I can't wait to see what you do next. We need all Maine citizens to come together politically. We need to ratchet down the rage, and we need to debate one another when we disagree about what policy and law should be within our borders, within our boundaries. We need to get back to where Robert's rules of order are not manipulated in order to empower an agenda that's absolutely nonsensical, like the one that you've exposed, and that Steve is exposing, and that Heidi Sampson is exposing, and so many people who of good heart who are working in the political space. They're exposing how, but none of them seem to get this point. You get it. They're exposing how Robert's rules of order are being used to empower evil, to empower Satanism. What other word, Tim, is there for the idea that the government is going to protect children from their parents so that they can have their genitals surgically removed? What other word is there for that? And creating policy that makes it possible for parents in other states to be given a legal shield, a kind of a shield of privacy between themselves and their children, so that those children can come to Maine and get the surgery, right? What is that? That's hell on earth, isn't it? What is that? And you're calling them out on it, and they're hiding behind Robert's Rules of Order.
Right.
That's what you exposed with the conservative school board member who slapped the phone out of your hand and committed assault. What you did there was expose the perversion of Robert's Rules of Order. That's what you did. And we've put up with that. We've lived with that our whole life. Oh yeah, Robert's, as long as we do it this way or that way, as long as we use these words.
Decorum, right?
Yeah, as long as we use these words and not those words, and blah, 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 blah.
And you know what? And most of all, we must be nice to each other. Okay,
yeah.
That's basically it. You're not being nice. Sorry. I mean, that's what the rules all are. What do they call it? Disparaging, right? All these words they use, right? I'm sorry, you have to be nice. Unless it's who the people that are on our side, and then they can, with a smile, barf hate on other people and unimpeded from behind the podium. But if we get up and we're a little rough around the edges, people lose their minds, right? Oh, you have to be nice. Well, here's the thing. And again, this rage thing, back to the rage thing. They keep poking you and poking you and poking you and poking you, and finally go, enough. And they go, look what a crazy man he is.
It's a psyop.
Oh, lame. It is. It's a psyop.
It's a psyop, and it's social engineering is what it is. So politics. Anyway, I know I got to let you go. We've gone for an hour, but this has been a pleasant surprise for me. All of this hate coming from your friends, all this hate.
Well, and again, what you're seeing here is that there's the clear impersonation, but then the impersonation is the account that's coming against me, and it's just using my own name. Like,
well, I call on. Look,
it really doesn't have an effect on people, right? Where you're seeing your own name being used against you in a podcast, right? Oh no, that's not a psyop. That's not. This guy's just a hobbyist. He's pure at heart.
I call on the Cybersecurity Crime Unit of Maine to take up this investigation. I call on Tim Bodnar's House Rep and Senator to take up this cause. We need to pull back the curtain on this. This is insane.
Mm-hmm.
This
illegal
is insane.
Shit. Illegal, and I mean evil. I mean, just there's no other way to call it. Okay, just to destroy just for the sake of destruction, right? But it's not just for the sake of destruction. There's a motive behind it. There's agendas behind it.
Jealousy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's
jealous.
Listen,
I hope you have a great Saturday and weekend. Great weekend. And as I say, I'm thrilled to think about what you might do next, to see what happens next. I know you're going to fight until you're dead. You're never going to stop fighting. It's not in your
it's in my nature
to stop fighting. So, and politics is war with words. It's war. It's always conflict. There's conflict all the time.
Well, it's clearly a continuum, right? You can see it, right? It's a battle of opposing ideas and ideologies. And I don't know if you saw, but just the last thing that I mentioned, I sent you a guy that spoke at this Turning Point Amfest thing that was basically, the message is this is not something I can coexist with. I cannot coexist with someone that wants to have me dead. And I won't. When we as Christians need to get to the part where we won't. But I'm just telling you personally, in my life, I won't.
Well, you don't have to in a civilization, but in hell, which is what we've created here in Maine and in the United States, yeah, because it's whoever has the most money, whoever has the most power is the one that gets justice, right? But that's not a civilization. That's hell. We've created it. We've created hell on earth, and all of us in Maine.
I'm never comfortable. I'm never comfortable, right? I haven't been comfortable in years. I wake up in a dystopian reality every single day, right? It's because this is the curse of the people that are awake before everybody else wakes up, right? You're up at 3 a.m. and you get 3 hours to go before everybody else climbs out of bed, right? It's damn lonely. And you know, and it's but because the battle is, the spiritual battle is raging, and you can't see it, you just experience it, right? And all the chaos that comes as a result. And yeah, it's bad. And I'm a barometer, right? Harbinger of what's coming.
It's diabolical and it's evil. And so understand that. And it's everywhere. It's inside of you. It's especially potent right now on the internet. But I believe that's going to change. But the only entity that can change it is the government. It's the government that's empowered to change this.
Well, and just to last, and I'm done. We got to go. But just to answer Dickhead over here, we call you Dickhead, by the way, in our club. That's our affectionate name for you is Dickhead, right? I will find another hobby. It's going to be you. See you.
All right. That's a great end to this.